but we are just after 7 o'clock now. I've got 7:04, and in the interest of you all not falling asleep on me and making sure that we get you out within the hour, I'm going to get us started. So, welcome. Thanks so much for spending your time with me. I really appreciate it. I know how valuable your time is as a business owner, and it's sometimes hard to make the time, but I'm glad you did because I'm going to help you solve the three biggest mistakes small business owners make that keep them confused, struggling, and spending way too much time with no return on investment. So, here's what we're going to go through tonight: consistently growing your networks, finding quality content to engage those followers, and planning your sales funnel. Without a plan, we don't really have much of anything, do we? So, we really must make sure we have a plan. So, again, for those of you who may have just arrived, just quick housekeeping, make sure your phones are off, distractions are off, close your email and any other electronic distractions that would take you away from us, and have a pen and paper ready to make some notes. You're definitely going to want to jot a few things down. So for those of you who don't know me, I just want to quickly introduce myself so you know who is on the other end of this microphone. My name is Trina Lowe, and I run a boutique marketing firm in Canada called Fresh Ink Communications. I started this about 15 years ago and have been loving every single minute of it. I get to work with and educate business owners on marketing from startups to seasoned, and I just love it. And I've had lots of fun and get to meet some really amazing people in this line of work. I've had the pleasure of working on a campaign for Deepak Chopra while he was in town here. I've met Stephen and Chris, the designer guys. They're pretty cool. And even Dr. Demartini, he's one of the stars of The Secret. And I've met Mr. Jack Canfield and worked with him for a day or two. And just recently, Robert Allen. He's a best-selling author, I think about 50 times over, if I remember that correctly. He's had many, many books and successes, and he's helping me get through writing my book. It's never as easy as you think it's going to be. But it hasn't always been smooth sailing for me. I've had to remortgage my home. I've had my fair share of credit card debt while trying to keep my business afloat during tough times. I lived through a recession, but there's been nothing that would have ever stopped me from keeping my business going. Anytime I've been concerned about where my next client's coming from, I remember this one thing: I am in complete control of how much money I make and when. I live in a country that is just amazing, where we do have this level of confidence and control, and we can maneuver around these things. So anytime I've been down, I've always recovered with success with this one mindset. The right marketing mindset will get you through any tough time during your business. And if you have that, all you have to think is, I'm just going to market more. I'm going to get more clients. I'm going to re-stimulate the client base that I've had in the past. So with that mindset, you can get through any of this stuff. But what really, really makes me tick, and why I love this business so much, stems from my own experiences as a child. I was painfully shy and grew up in a verbally strict home. Those of you who know me today, lots of people don't believe me that I was so shy, but totally true. I was not to speak unless spoken to, and furthermore, I was only to respond in Chinese. Even though I was born overseas, I grew up here and have always thought in English. So communicating what I wanted at home was really difficult for me, and I never felt heard. Being so quiet at home also caused some problems at school. I was too quiet, never voiced my thoughts, and therefore didn't always get the recognition I deserved. And you can imagine how that could spin off into a lack of success as a young adult. And then I did a 180, got overly aggressive, fighting for my voice, fighting to be heard. But now I feel like I've come to a very comfortable place in life where I can speak my mind no matter what, and yet don't need to shout. So that's my mission. It is my mission to work with business owners who haven't yet found their voice and haven't yet found that comfort, specifically online, because it is such a new, awkward thing for some people. And I want to help them get there. And it's a great place to be once you've bridged that gap and feel like you can just say and do anything. And the coolest thing about today is you can say it to everyone for free. I just love that. I think that's fascinating because I remember my roots and where I came from. So I really appreciate being in a place where I can say and do whatever I like. So now I work with business owners and also help them craft their USP or unique selling propositions and help them spread their message to the world using social media. And I love it. Anyone who knows me personally knows I love my social media and I'm online quite a bit. But enough about me. Let's talk about how to get your message out there and increase those leads and show you how to master consistently growing your networks, finding quality content, and planning your sales funnel. That's 3 key things here. 54% more leads are generated by inbound marketing than traditional paid marketing. $20,000 is the average company save every single year using inbound marketing instead of outbound marketing. Okay. Now, since you're already here with me, I know I'm kind of preaching to the choir, but I just want to stress how important inbound marketing is today. And I want to ensure no one is left confused by anything I'm covering. So I just want to review what inbound marketing is really quick. Inbound marketing is promoting business through things like blogs, videos, e-newsletters, SEO, which stands for search engine optimization. That's the work that we do that will help your website be found on Google in a search, and of course, social media. And these things serve to educate potential customers to attract them to your business. We're working on attraction and bringing people in versus shouting out. And marketers know that gaining a new client's trust first can ensure loyalty. So when it does come time to buy, even if it's later down the road, they're going to come back to you because you've already helped them out with something. So be of service is the key here, and let them self-select to continue to follow and listen to you versus what old school outbound marketing does, which is be in their face whenever they want, whether you as a potential customer want them there or not. So if you do have any questions about anything that I'm saying right now, do feel free to put them in the chat box. I can see you, but all the messages are private, so they're coming to me. You shouldn't be able to see anybody else, so don't fear asking questions, but there is a slight time delay, so just so you know that, okay? So the first problem, I'm gonna go 3, 2, 1 here, was grow your network. And a lot of people miss this point. They go straight to posting a bunch of stuff, but they're not really speaking to anyone because they haven't grown their network sufficiently. So how do we do that? Before we launch any major campaigns, we have to work on getting enough people in that room, meaning on Facebook or Twitter or LinkedIn or one of those things. You need to set some mini goals for yourself and reach a minimum number of connections for each social media platform you decide to use with a deadline. Without a deadline and a goal for whatever platform you decide to use, you're just dreaming, really. So you've heard that before. I'm sure many of you have had coaches. A desired goal without a deadline is just a dream. Okay, so give yourself something realistic and reasonable. Aim for 100 followers on each platform if you're just getting started, and give yourself a reasonable deadline. Let's say a month. I think a month is comfortable, reasonable. That's 4 whole weeks to get on there as often as you can and work at getting followers. Okay. But how do you get followers? That's the question. First, you're setting a goal, but you must have a professional bio written for each of the pages that they may be landing on. So it's either your Twitter bio, your Facebook bio, even Pinterest, wherever it is you decide to start, make sure that page looks great and the words on there are accurate, professional, and sufficient to get people to stay. Because if you've done all that work to get them to one of your social media pages, and if they don't stay, well, all that work's for nothing. And you want to follow others. A lot of social media is highly, highly reciprocal. If you follow someone on Twitter, it's very reciprocal and they are likely to follow you back. They don't have to, but just by following them, you will have exposed yourself to them. They'll see your profile. If you look interesting, relevant to them, they'll follow you back. Follow like-minded people. So follow people who are really open-minded. They may be business owners as well. They could be industry people, but some of the people that are super easy to follow who are very reciprocal are news media. So magazine writers, radio hosts, news anchors, it's part of their job to associate with the public or talk to us. So they're very likely to follow you back. And because a lot of people follow them, when you interact, it exposes you to other people even more. Be sure to comment and share posts of other people's. They'll be grateful and you'll likely get some reciprocation down the road. And here's the trickiest one for people to feel comfortable with. Ask your personal networks to follow your professional pages. So let's take Facebook as the example. You have your profile, and that's where you put your real name. And then you have your Facebook page, which is where you showcase your business. Well, you already most likely have friends and family on your personal profile attached to you there. Ask them for some support. Ask them for help. And people always say, oh, I don't want to ask. That feels awkward. That feels weird. I don't like it. Well, if you were in a live setting, if you were in multi-level marketing, network marketing, if you were starting a new business of any kind, you would likely in real life ask your friends and family for referrals and support and ask them to help you spread your business cards around. So it's really not that different here. So just, you're going to have to get over that awkwardness because they can really put so much wind beneath your wings and really help you grow your business that way. Oh, looks like Debbie's here. Thank you. Okay, so even if you don't have many followers yet, because I don't know exactly where everyone's starting from, I'm just going to assume, a little bit that we're starting from the beginning, just for the sake of going through these. So if you don't have a lot of followers yet, you do still need to start creating content. So there's a reason for people to follow you when they do land on your page. The profile or the bio isn't the only thing that's going to make them want to follow you. They're going to want to see that you have some interesting things to say. So make sure to start creating some content. And that leads to problem number 2 that we're going to solve. How do I find quality content? This seems to really trip a lot of people up. So if that's you as well, don't feel bad because it certainly happens to a lot of people. So how do we do that? First, I'm going to go over some basic rules when creating content because this will help you identify what is good content when you come across it. Engage with others and remember to entertain too. A little ha-ha goes a long way. We've got one of our foremost comedian trainers here, Miss Eva, can tell you most definitely that giving a little ha-ha in your presentation is really going to help people remember you. So just make sure that you add a little humor. Make sure your content is shareable, meaning that the majority of people will understand it and find it easy to share. So don't get too complicated. Make sure you stay away from industry jargon and make sure it's something light and fun and, like I said, easy to share. Could be a cute puppy picture. Everybody likes puppies, right? Well, 99% of people like puppies. It's just those cat people that don't like puppies. Now, post great content that is educational and informative. So this is where you get to showcase a little bit more of your expertise and you want to educate them on what it is that you do. And you really want to do this still in light, easy to share touches. Again, stay away from that industry jargon, but make sure that it is educational because I'll remember that. It's like, that really made me think of how I want to do this. So I'm going to remember that and maybe I'll come back for more. So use hashtags. So if you don't know what a hashtag is yet, you may have just heard about it. It's simply creating a phrase that turns into a live link. And all you have to do is use the hashtag, or some of us call it the pound or the number sign. Use that, combine it with a short phrase or words, and just make sure that there are no spaces. So this minute you put a space in, you've ended the hashtag and started a new word. What this will do again is group everyone's comments who are using this particular hashtag, and you'll be able to be a part of a much larger conversation because people are looking for hashtags and really want to participate in what's hot and going on right now. So that's definitely of interest to people. And give people a reason to stay following you. What do I mean by that? You have to give me a reason, make me feel special. Why do I like your Facebook page? What am I doing here? I could probably get a lot of the information that you're giving me if I really wanted it online, right? Yeah, that's true. So give me something every once in a while. We're not talking all the time. It could be just more educational information that you've taken a lot of time to compile that would be of great benefit to them. I don't know if some of you caught this on my own Facebook page during the holiday season, but I did something called the 12 Days of Freshmas. I was just in a great mood, wanted to give. I wanted to make sure that people had some, reason to stick around and a reason to talk about my page and following my page. So I created 12 days of giveaways. I just gave out one small thing every day, and not even all of those things were directly from me. It's not that easy to give away a high-end service that you really need to charge for, because you only have so many hours in a day. So I called up some of my clients who are, kind of friends too now. That happens a lot with me. And they donated books and other product, and donated a half-hour session for health kinesiology and just things like that. So it doesn't always have to be taxing. You don't have to feel like you have to give everything away first. Stay active and consistent with your posting. This is probably, once anyone starts getting content, their biggest issue. Well, I don't have time to be online every day. I don't have 6 hours a day to play with social media, is what I hear all the time. It's like, well, if you're doing it right, you're working on your social media maybe 5 to 10 minutes a day, and you're playing with it the rest of the time if you so choose. I'm on social media a lot because it's fun. I like staying connected with people I know across the world, and I like hanging out there. I see nothing but funny things that make me laugh. And because I know how to screen things out really well, I rarely ever see anything negative on Facebook. So it's a pleasure for me to be there. So don't think that you need to be there all day, every day. If everything is set up correctly, you'll have email triggers that push through to your phone, so you know when you have a question or problem there that needs to be answered. Which of course leads us to our next point. Be responsive. Answer people when they're engaging with you. The worst thing you can do is have a frustrated person who really wants your help be ignored. Everybody hates that. It doesn't matter who you are, what industry you are, you just want to be heard. And if someone is trying to get in touch with you, be responsive. Well, now you're thinking, God, I have to monitor my social media all the time. What if it's 12 a.m.? Well, you have to set some parameters for your business in general. A friend of mine who also helps educate business owners in a different way, he feels like you have to respond 24/7, 7 days a week, and you have to be on it, on it, on it. Well, that's, in my opinion, that's impossible, right? Like, you cannot be responding to people at 3 a.m. You're going to have to get some sleep sooner or later. So I'm going to ask you to make sure you know what your reality is in your company. It's easy if you're retail, right? Retail, you're open from 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., Monday to Saturday, and those are your hours. So those are the times that you need to be responding to people, because people can see that you're open. But what if you're in a service and people kind of know that you're a late night owl like I am? I don't respond to emails after a certain period of time unless I know that person or client really, really well. And they don't do it all the time. I don't want them to get into a habit of it. But I make sure that if there's some new notification on Twitter, I see that come through my phone. And at the moment I turn my phone on in the morning, it'll come through if it's there. And if there's nothing there, I don't need to worry about it. So really shouldn't be too much of a big sweat for anybody. Okay. But I promise to help you find content, right? So these are just some rules for the content itself. Content is everywhere. We're so lucky to be doing business in this day and age, because we don't have to go to the library anymore. I actually had to go to the library and go to other facilities to create my first business plan. Yes, I'm that old. So, this is such a fantastic thing for all of us. You can Google any topic you like and find great content from people who are already in your industry. You don't have to do all this hard work. But to be truly helpful, here's what I'm going to suggest you search for and what to do with it. I want you to search for industry experts that have already compiled statistics that will be of interest to your potential clients. For example, a realtor or mortgage broker would look into the real estate board in their city, who tracks all the recent sales and rates, and repost portions that are of the highest interest to their clients. And of course, that's who we're targeting to get followers to be. So the example on the screen or your monitor is, in the last quarter, housing sales rose 20% in Alberta, averaging $900,000 per sale. If I were a buyer or a seller, that would be of great interest to me. And just so you know, this particular statistic was made up. I have nothing to do with the housing industry, so I don't know. But, as a buyer or seller, I still want to know what's going on. You don't have to do all the work. All you have to do is Google statistics, find a couple of really credible industry leaders in your same industry. Most likely they will have done a lot of work for you. People love statistics. And the reason for that is it supports something we're feeling. If I want to buy a home, this would support me saying yes to it, and I feel more comfortable with my own decision. So statistics are great things to include in your posts, but make sure they're positive as well. I'm not saying you can't say anything negative. You can always put a positive spin on a negative situation, right? So you just don't have to be out there complaining. Positive posts, cute posts are also great. I mean, it could be a cute animal video or an inspirational quote. A lot of people have been asking me lately, aren't we tired of inspirational quotes? I see them everywhere. Not everybody sees everything you see. And for the most part, people don't get tired of positive. People want to feel good. Sometimes life is hard. Depending upon where you are, winter is hard. We want a little positivity in our day, and that's a great way to start your day. So, no, people aren't tired of positive. And again, you can find thousands of websites with positive quotes on them. And you can also take your own favorite motivational sayings and put them on a background image in Microsoft Word or PowerPoint, whatever you have available to you, then save them out as a JPEG for posting. So you could create one background that will flood through to most of your posts, and that'll help you start branding, because in that background image, you could subtly have your logo in the corner. You could even have your website in the image itself. It won't be clickable, but then what you can do is make sure the live link to your website is in the description area of the photo, and then people will be able to click on it and go straight to your website. Also, be sure to be timely. You can comment on current events in your city as well as global issues if you actually have something to say about it. Don't feel pressure to have to participate in something just because it's happening. It might have nothing to do with your business. It might be horribly negative, whatever's happening in the news right now. But saying things like Merry Christmas in December is an easy post to create, and it's top of mind to everybody. Besides, you'd say it to your real clients in real life too, right? So don't feel awkward about that. Okay. And I put this up because a lot of people get a little bit lazy with their content. So do or do not. On occasion, of course, it's okay to publish an article that somebody else wrote and lead them to the full article. But when you do that, what you're doing is leading them away from you, away from your social site and away from your website. So don't do that too often, because it will just keep driving traffic away from you. Even if you were the source, you could quickly be forgotten. But the way to get around that is read the article, rewrite a shorter version of it, but include your own words and expertise with it. We all read industry information all the time, but it's how we interpret it and use it that is valuable to our clients. So you read you're all learning all the time new things about your industry that matter, and you share that with your clients. That's your value, that's your expertise, right? So don't get lazy, rewrite it. That's what I'm saying. So here's a shocking statistic for you. 68% of chief marketing officers believe custom content is the future of marketing. 78% is an overwhelming tip over. Website conversion rates are nearly 6 times higher for content marketing adopters versus non-adopters. 6 times higher is also incredible. Content marketing generates 3 times more leads. So writing content and having great content will win the game at the end of the day. If people are only posting cat videos, Obviously, if you're not selling cats, that's not going to do you very good, right? So make sure that your content is useful, but you don't want to be selling all the time, right? You can only talk so much about what you do before it just sounds like a repetitive sales pitch. That's where you break it up with the cat video or with the cute puppy pics. Okay, so just have a variety. Just think of how you really are in real life. Think of how you are when you're out at a networking function. The intention is to be there for work and for business and to stimulate business. But if you walked up to me, shook my hand, and immediately started telling me about your product or service, what would that make me think? I would know for sure you don't care about me. You don't care what my needs are because you didn't ask. You didn't bother to find out. You have no idea who I am. Why are you telling me about life insurance? Really? You didn't even ask if I had any. What if I already have lots of life insurance? So things like that don't make sense in real life. Therefore, they don't make sense online either, because we're still talking to people at the end of the day. But once you enter the program, you'll be well on your way for setting the foundation for those high conversions, mastering content creation like your competitors are already doing. Look for videos you can share too. They're also extremely engaging. And if you can create your own, you have the means, the time, and the expertise to do a little bit of editing without it really impacting your work too much, I highly, highly recommend you do videos. It's actually really not that hard. I just started doing some myself. And well, actually started a few years ago, and I thought it would be way more complicated because I come from a print background and I just didn't understand how all these things moved all the time. But it was surprisingly easy. And if you want some quick images to share, because we don't always want to be talking or writing long articles, you want to mix it up with some pictures, connect your Pinterest account to your Facebook account and share them that way. So every time you see me do something on Pinterest, it shows up on Facebook as well. So then I'm just creating more content if I haven't been back to Facebook in a while. That's one place that's kind of one place twice the work is done. So that's an easy one for you. So let's just recap where you can find content or what content to find. Industry experts in your field, statistics and lists. People love lists as well. So you could find a list on the top 10 ways to, or the top 10 best ways to manage an event, the top 10, popular event decorations for 2015. People love that stuff, but here's how you really maximize it. Find that website with all the statistics, find that top 10 list, and break it out. So those 10 points on that list can be broken out into 10 different posts. You don't have to give the whole farm away the first time. Maybe at the end of 10 days, while you're doing the top 10 countdown, then you can give them a nice PDF image that gives them all the lists at once and rebrand it as your own. I mean, none of that stuff is really proprietary. It's just a compilation of information that already exists. Positive quotes, find them online and remember to use your own as well. So you have a culture, even if there's just one of you in your company, you have a company culture and it's you and it's your personality. So let it out. Let it out. Have some fun with it. You probably say 5 or 10 things all the time and you may or may not even realize it. So if you have a spouse or roommate, maybe, ask them, what do I say all the time? Start taking notice, because those things will really help develop your company culture online. And of course, it was, again, current issues. And again, current issues you can find everywhere online, already on social media and or websites. You can, of course, watch the news if that's something you do. But, comment on holidays. You can easily comment about the weather and parking. If you happen to be in Calgary, Alberta, well, you know how we love to complain about the price of parking here. But keep it positive as you can possibly keep the price of parking in Calgary. Of course, write posts and articles on what you already know. What do you share with your clients in a discovery meeting, for example? Think of you engaging with a new client. What sort of things do you need them to share with you so that you can work together successfully? This will help you understand how much knowledge you have in your head, and it'll really prepare that new potential client that's looking at you online. So think about stuff like that. You probably have way more shareable knowledge in your head than you think. Now, if you're what I call a very high touch person or a high touch industry, maybe you're a massage therapist, maybe you're an event planner, and your favorite thing in the world is actually to work the room and rearrange things. So you're very, very high touch, and you may not be in front of a computer all that much. So you're probably a little bit lower tech. That's just a general rule because you're doing things in other places versus on your computer. So if that's you, start a journal that you can write random ideas that pop into your head and keep that journal handy. Maybe it's by your bedside, in your purse, in your pocket. Guys have a ton of pockets everywhere. That shouldn't be too hard. But if you are a little bit more high tech and you're really good with your smartphone, make a note in there. There's lots of notepads and different apps that allow you to capture tons of information so that you can come back to it later. And we are down to problem number 1, planning your sales funnel. Remember, without the sales funnel, you do not have sales. This is the missing link, and this is what so many people trying to use social media for business miss. They just think, if I build it, they will come. If I post it, they will come. If I post something, and if I'm really good at posting stuff, they're just going to click on my website and buy something, right? They're going to pick up the phone and call me and ask if they can buy something and give me money, right? Not necessarily. If you don't lead somebody into a buying position, they may or may not even understand that you have something to sell. So I have one friend, she's working on this particular project. She doesn't actually have anything to sell yet, so she's just warming people up by putting a bunch of funny stuff out there, which is awesome. But she's at some point really going to have to make it clear that she does have a product to sell. Otherwise, all these people are just going to sit there and look, stare blankly back at her and be like, what? We didn't know you had anything to sell, so we're not pulling out our credit cards. That's just how the world works. We have to make it easy. We're all very, very busy, and it needs to be easy for us to buy what we want and what we need. And furthermore, big mistake I hear, people hear of this new way to advertise on Facebook, like these black posts or dark posts are kind of the hot underground conversational topic right now. And I've had a lot of clients say, oh, I really want to try it. I really want to try it. I'm like, why? You don't have a funnel set up. What's the point in trying advertising just to lead them back to the front page of your website, which frankly isn't looking so good anyway? So, I've actually discouraged people from trying things before they're ready, and also frankly have kind of not made sales because I just know my clients aren't ready for that. So I would never lead them into a place where I know they're not going to make any money. At least put them on the right page of your website that gets them to take the action that you want. Okay. Most of the time, again, just, if you're leading people back to the front generic page of your website, thinking they're going to understand why they're there, your website better just really, really be amazing right now. So here's what you need to do to structure your social media funnel, okay? Number 1, decide the end result first. We have to know what it is we're building this funnel for. Is it signing up for your newsletter? Is it purchasing your product directly on your Facebook page or somewhere on your website? Right now, is it just getting more likes and followers? That's a great goal too. There's nothing wrong with that. Doesn't matter where you are. But let's work with the first point as an example, signing up for your newsletter. Newsletters are still revered quite, as gold. Getting into somebody's inbox is really a sacred place of people's. And if we've signed up for something voluntarily, of course, we want the information. So we want to know that we want your information to be coming into the inbox. So yeah, so let's work on that one. So what do you need to do from here to get people from social media to sign up for your newsletter? What are we going to do? Whoops, my mouse is in the wrong place. You'll have to use a proper email marketing program such as Constant Contact or Aweber. And if you happen to be in Canada, the Canadian anti-spam legislation is in effect, requires, and this is a law now, it requires you to be able to prove that that subscriber signed up for your newsletter voluntarily, and you must give them a way to automatically unsubscribe. Besides, you really don't want to do all this work manually. It's awful. Now what? Once you have a list in that program, one of the programs that I just mentioned, set up for people to subscribe to, because you want to categorize where people came from. You may have multiple different client bases. You want to use a link provided by the program itself to lead them back to your website where they can sign up, or back to Facebook where they can subscribe straight from your Facebook page. And you really want to ensure they're landing on the right page of your website again, not just the homepage, unless that's where you have your sign up box. You'll need an autoresponder for when they sign up to say thank you and let them know what to expect from your future newsletters. You can expect to see this in your inbox every 2 weeks. Ask them, of course, to do things like, save your email address in their contacts so it doesn't get sent to spam. And that's part of the program that you would sign up for. You create posts to send out through your social media sites that lead them to sign up for your newsletter, and you need to create a campaign to intrigue them enough to sign up. Then you schedule those posts on your social media site. So you really start kind of backwards in a way. A lot of people just want to start sending stuff out right away, and they have this general goal in mind, but they haven't got the structure, that back end middle piece set up that's critical. It has to work this way or it just doesn't work at all. Okay. 79% of marketing leads never convert to sales. Lack of lead nurturing is the most common cause of this poor performance. 79% is huge. Can you imagine if you got 100 leads a month? For some of us in service, that's a big number. 79% of marketing leads that came in, so 79 leads, never turned into sales. Wow, what a horrible waste of time and money, right? Eva's asking a timely question. Which program do I use? And of course, I assume that you're meaning for email marketing. I recently, and I did this kind of with resistance, I recently just switched over to Aweber, and so far, no problems whatsoever. I've been a huge, faithful Constant Contact fan for a very long time, but unfortunately, Constant Contact is not keeping up with the changes that need to be happening. So they're not able to plug into all of the other programs that I'm using. And I even picked up the phone and called the 1-800 number and said, I really need this to do this. All the other programs do this. How come you're not doing it? And they just said, we're just not there yet. It's just not done yet. So I actually had to jump ship on them, switch over to Aweber, and I also have a MailChimp account as well. So that's a little bit much, but I like to be in the know and experiment with different programs, partially for my clients as well. So getting back to the example of creating this sales funnel, what if your business is a little bit more complex? Myself, for example, I don't have product per se to sell online. So I provide a service to people. So if you have a high-end service or a face-to-face service, you may start with giving away a free consultation, or maybe that's part of your process. You have to really meet your client before you work with them anyway. So then you'll need to ensure there's an easy way to schedule an online appointment right then and there. Like I'm looking for stuff at midnight sometimes. I don't know about you guys, but I'm up late and I get into research mode, and it could be for a whole variety of personal issues and items. And if I stumble across your website and I have to call you tomorrow morning with the best of intentions, I'm going to forget, right? So, and I finally got your yes, Eva. So there's like a minute time delay or so. So yeah, make sure you have all that back end stuff working for you, and the easier you make it for other people, the better everything will work for you. And you're going to have to take lots of feedback. You're going to need to ask friends, family to like, hey, go to my website and try to book an appointment with me. What is it that stops you? What is it that is confusing? I've had tons of feedback since I started this webinar series this week. And let me tell you, I'm new to this webinar stuff. Some of you have seen me speak live before. I'm extremely comfortable in a live room. I have no problem getting in front of, 10 people or 1,000 people. I don't care. It doesn't matter. But this webinar stuff, total huge learning curve. Lots of new software that I just started using, within the last 2 months. And of course, until you go through a real live one, as much as I practice playing around with all the software, Huge learning curve. And I got some great feedback, which I really appreciate, saying, you know what, that I saw that you invited us to your webinar, but it was a little bit confusing. It was a little bit confusing for this or that reason. And I have written all of that down. I'm taking all of that into consideration. So this is going to happen in your business over and over again. Don't be offended by it. Take it for what it is. And whether you asked for the advice or opinion or not, I think most people are just trying to help us. And I think as business owners, we need to help each other. So if we can be conscious of providing feedback in a kind, positive way, that's always very helpful. And I think it's good to really just, take a moment and say, that really was a good suggestion. So if you're new to social media, right now, some of this might sound really daunting because it's like, oh, I just wanted to get kind of famous on Facebook and create some fun posts, right? That's kind of what you're thinking. And it might, the thought is typically, oh, that's just going to lead into sales. If I get lots of likes on Facebook and I've got lots of followers on Instagram, I'm just going to be rich. And no, there's lots of other stuff that needs to go on here. But remember this while you're going through this journey. Even social media is not even 10 years old yet. So there's absolutely no reason you should expect yourself to have mastered this yet. Business owner or not, do not put that kind of pressure on yourself. That's not fair. Many of you listening right now might have already tried to get started on your own. You probably started a Facebook page for your business. You probably have a Twitter account. Maybe you've tweeted, maybe you haven't. And you probably have a LinkedIn profile. Most of us do, but most of us really don't know what to do with it, which is, oh, such a shame. LinkedIn is so fabulous for networking. You have all these things. You just don't get how to make it work for you yet. You don't get how to turn it into cash, how to flip it around and make it work for you. That's okay. You're here right now. You're listening. You blocked off this time in your calendar. So congratulate yourself for taking this step. It's really important that you give yourself, a good virtual high five every now and again. Pat yourself on the back for continuing to learn, because your learning goes directly back into your business, and it's a permanent thing. When you learn something new, you can apply it over and over again. So this is all great stuff for you. So I want to recap. You must grow your network continuously. Don't do one big effort, get to that 100 and stop. Keep going. How did you get to that 100 in the first place? Make notes, write it down, ask for suggestions continuously, and do what needs to be done to continue to grow that network. Post great content to engage those people that you've attracted and to attract them in the first place. Put effort into your content. It is important. What you say is important. It's the equivalent of, if I don't have a refined elevator pitch when I'm going out to network, kind of what's your point, right? You just seem awkward and things don't flow, and those connections aren't going to be made very well. And plan that sales funnel, or the above 2 points are completely pointless. Just getting to 10,000 followers, fans, or whatever is not going to make you rich. It just isn't. There's more work to be done. But it's extremely important to continue to educate yourself on this stuff moving forward, because I'm watching, not noticing, I'm watching this happen as we speak. A dangerous trend with business owners today. They're not keeping up with any of this stuff, and they're falling way behind. I mean, way behind. Not using social media successfully today could actually tank a business now. And you're like, well, why? Because turning, 10,000 likes isn't going to necessarily make me business. But if you don't use social media successfully, what else is it that you're doing is my question. Right? Most business owners, especially solopreneurs, entrepreneurs, they don't have $100,000 advertising budget. They don't have 20 grand to put into the best website ever, nor do you really need that. So what are they doing, right? They're not advertising. They might be networking. They might not be doing it so well, unfortunately. But so they're focusing on social media because it's free, right? And seemingly easy. But they're not doing that very well yet. So really their marketing is it's at a standstill. It's not working. You get a lot of, we get a lot of criticism about this, because it's like, well, how long does it take to write a post anyway? What, 30 seconds? Well, for some of us who know exactly what to write, when to write it and post it, and to whom we're always talking to, and for those of us who know the software inside and out, yeah, it's easy. But that's not everyone. Unless you are in marketing and are in the online game, in that business, it's not that simple. I've actually watched some of the smartest people I know with numerous degrees and street smarts literally freeze up and break into a cold sweat when writing their first post. Totally true story. The guy I'm specifically remembering, he's a behavioral specialist, and it just freaked him right out to post. And so this isn't, if you're feeling this way, this isn't unnatural. And if this were easy, you and everyone else would already be doing it with mad success. So it's not that easy, right? So I want you to just get comfortable for a sec and take you through a little mental exercise. Make sure you're comfy in your chair. Make sure there's no distractions again. And just imagine yourself in the future. Imagine social media working for you already. All your profiles and pages have professional, engaging bios that you're proud of. All your graphics are branded and consistent, and then you're proud of them. You have posts going out on all the platforms that are pre-scheduled so you can go about your day, and they all lead back to the final data capture point on your website. Your clients can book an online appointment 24/7, or just go ahead and enter their credit card information and purchase your product while you're sleeping. You finally have technology on your side, and you're making money daily with little effort, and you've increased your client base by 30%. And revenues have doubled in the past year. Doesn't that sound amazing? Isn't that what you want to go for? I kind of think so, don't you? So now you have more revenue to hire staff, and you can afford to be away as much as you want owning the business instead of working in it every day. Isn't that what you imagined when you started in the first place? And you can check on your social media and your online marketing funnel from anywhere in the world. So doesn't checking in from your iPad or your phone sound so much better? Sitting on the beach in a sunshine, enjoying your day, but knowing that your business is running, knowing that leads are coming in. So I'm going to ask you right now, where are you at with social media? If you put it in the chat box, where are you? Do you feel like you're a newbie? Do you feel like, well, I play with it all the time? Maybe you're sort of an intermediate level where you understand how it works, but you don't necessarily understand how it works for business. So maybe you're completely experienced. Where are you at with this? So just take a moment and type in the chat box. And as you know, there's a slight delay. So I'm going to let you go ahead and do that. And I'll come check on you in a second here. Now, because you're here with me right now, I'm going to share with you ways that you can get here. So you can finally get clear on how social media works for your business. You can get clear on how Facebook works for your business. You can get clear on how to turn LinkedIn connections into cash. You can understand what the heck Twitter is for and how to automate your posts so you never miss an opportunity to connect with your potential clients. But what's really important is I speak directly to business owners and sales professionals. And the difference there is you have too much information already. You're a business owner, you've got tons of industry stuff to keep up on. You have stresses, you have spouses who don't understand what you're going through because they have a job. Nothing wrong with having a job, by the way. But if we don't take everything available to us and understand how to use it as a business owner, guess what? That's the problem out there. There's tons of information. We just don't know how to apply it, right? That's the problem. So we've got some responses here in the chat. We've got Kyla, who's well experienced. Awesome. Eva knows enough to be dangerous. And then we've got several people here who are novices, newbies. And, there's one lady here who has got started but really wants to hold back until other stuff has happened. And there's lots of different strategies. There's no right or wrong there. So if you're really ready, sounds like, well, you're here for a reason, right? You've put in this time for a reason. If you're ready to finally start living that dream, working on that dream of making money on a beach, this is where you get started. And I've got some information to share with you so that you can make a choice for yourself and make a choice to get started and make a choice as to what is the right next step for you. And remember I showed you in that previous example, you have to reward people for being with you, for following you, for trusting you with their time. So you have to make sure that you do reward people. So the first bit of information I have for you is to make sure that you have a variety of offerings for your own market. So you could be in, there's varied markets here. I don't know every single one of you personally that's on the webinar right now, but if you're in sort of a service area, you likely have already got some packages created. So I have a platinum package. This is somebody who's ready for a big breakthrough marketing campaign. It's probably a very established business who has created a brand new product and they just need a huge launch effort. So that's what the platinum package is for. And this package is really specific. And you need to have product ready to sell, online or offline. The platinum package is for people with extra resources required for marketing tools, because there's going to be other software that you're going to figure out that you need. You're going to have to pay for advertising, things like that. You're going to need staff support. You have to have time to work with me. So if you're running your feet off, don't have staff support yet, this is not for you. And you have to qualify for us to work with you on a platinum package level, because it is an intense amount of work. And you're going to, we'll be talking probably every day, if not every other day. And we have to get along, and you have to work with my team and be okay with them too. So it's for, it's a $20,000 investment. It's that short boom for a big breakthrough campaign. And it's for between 6 to 9 months. So that's for some people, not for everybody. Don't know where you're at right now. So that's just one of the offerings. And I really want to walk you through this system, because this is probably something you want to emulate in your business if you haven't made clear packages yet. For the majority of you on the webinar, you're probably at the gold standard package level. You've made it through the danger zone. You've made it through that first 18 months in business, and you are now making profitable revenue. 50% of businesses fail in their first year, and only 1 out of 5 is actually profitable. So for gold standard package people, you've probably hit the glass ceiling. You've been making about the same amount of revenue for the last 6 months. You're running like a madman to keep things going and don't physically have the time to do more marketing yourself. Okay, but you're not ready to hire a full-time marketer either. That's a huge investment with a lot of risk that goes with it. So you're probably a little bit frustrated. How are you supposed to find the time to do more when you're already running flat out? You still have to be very discretionary with your spending, but you have capital to invest back in your business. And so you're ready for some serious, steady growth. So this package gets you to the platinum level at your own pace. You've probably already tried several marketing campaigns that did not net you what you wanted. You're frustrated, you maybe feel wronged, but still smart enough to know you need to know more about marketing online, particularly with social media, and you need someone to guide you through that maze, because this stuff changes all the time too, right? And you have to really weave in and out with it. And this package is a combination of coaching and us providing services, and that's what's ideal for most people. If you just get someone to do it for you, you can never duplicate that yourself. You'll never know who to hire when you're ready for a full time, because you actually don't know what happened behind the scenes. It's good to have a really good understanding of it. And worse, you don't even know what decisions were made or why, so you can't make those good decisions again in the future. So if you don't work with a marketing professional who can guide you through all of it, you're 100% likely to have disjointed marketing, which is less than half as effective than if it were all cohesive and working together like the finely tuned machine that it should be. So we'll help you create a strategy. We'll manage your social media for you. So we create all your posts, watch for the best times, ensure we know who's being reached and when. We even provide SEO in this package. So this is search engine optimization. And that means what we do in the back end of your website to get your website found in a Google search. We coach and educate you on social media and traditional marketing so you can blend them together. And normally this package is $3,495 a month, which is, if you understand the value of what we're talking about up here, that's a really, really effective price point. Most people are providing SEO for no less than about $1,000 a month on its own. So you can imagine what other things are involved here. But for anyone that's here now with me today, remember, reward people for spending the time. We've already created this effort to get you here, right? So if you're looking at an online marketing platform later down the road for yourself, remember to offer them something. And remember to make it legitimate. Yes, the regular price for that package is $34.95. I didn't just bump it up for the sake of this, right? You should never operate that way in any business. And I would never do that because someone will figure it out sooner or later. So if you're registered and you're here, it's $19.97 a month. Again, this is a very custom package. It's work that we do specifically with you and for you. So all you'd have to do for the Platinum or Gold is just send me a quick email or just type yes gold or yes platinum in the chat box right now and we'll connect. But we don't know exactly where everybody is today. So you must have something available for the majority as well. And this is a good idea. You don't have to. Some companies only work with, platinum level people. But my plight, again, as you know, when I told you at the beginning of this webinar, is to ensure that your voice is heard, to ensure that we help people find that voice. So I can't really share exactly what I've been able to do for my clients. There's a privacy issue there, but I can tell you what we did for this particular campaign. So in less than 24 hours, we reached 29,079 people on LinkedIn. So almost 30,000 people were reached on LinkedIn in less than 24 hours for this particular campaign that brought you here. And on Facebook, we reached 40,440 people in just under 48 hours. So we know how to do this stuff. I know how to do this stuff myself because of course I have a team that helps me out, but this is my love. I love this stuff. It's my passion. I eat, sleep, and breathe this stuff because I find it so fascinating. How can we get our clients attracted to us without being there? So I've designed this program for maximum success, and I mean maximum. I am a bit of a webinar junkie, to be honest with you, and I sign up for a lot of stuff. I sign up for a lot of online stuff, and unfortunately, I don't get to get through it all the time because there's nobody kicking my butt. That's a bit of an issue with a lot of business owners. But I have put this into a video module, so it's online forever. This program, Social Media Mastery 101, the Foundation for Success, is born out of 3.5 years of research doing live sessions with people. So I could see the expression on everyone's face. So I could see if I was using a term that it was just a little bit too, too geeky. They weren't quite ready for it. So I've watched, listened, and learned and made sure to pull out all the stops to make this as useful as possible. There's a private coaching via the Facebook group. So we're on there all the time. I'm on there all the time. All the past participants, well, the majority of the past participants are in that group. So if there's a question that you have burning right there, other people who've already been through the program can help you as well. And I check on that all the time. So what you get from this is step-by-step guidance to how to use Twitter, Facebook, and LinkedIn properly, how to set them up properly for success, how to create effective content, what and how to use pre-scheduling and managing tools so you could effectively schedule all your standard posts in one day or less. Depends on how fast you think about that sort of thing. And then you want to check in, of course, on a regular basis. Maybe, just 5 or 2 minutes in the morning. And here's the big difference too. These videos are going to be updated whenever there is a major change because social media changes, in case you haven't noticed. There's a lot of stuff that happens and they'll just do it whenever. So we'll wait for the changes to stop and then redo the module and of course let you know when that's up. And additionally, after those first 3 are done, and those are 3 critical things to use no matter what business you're in, then we're adding on a 101 level of how to use Pinterest, how to use Instagram, and Google+. Google+ is critical if you're interested in getting your website found properly in Google searches. So that's why we made sure to add them in. And this is the last time I'll be offering this. If you're wondering what to use and you're still not sure, because we're going to throw a ton of information at you through this course. Remember, I'm taking a 3-day, 24-hour live course and putting it online for you. So there's a lot of information. You'll have one-on-one private coaching calls with me once a month for 6 months, not a group, just you and me. We're going to work our schedules together, and we're going to make sure we talk just about you for an hour every time. Normally, I charge $265 a session just for coaching. So I really, really, really want to make this work for everybody. It's time. That gap that I was telling you about that's growing in business owners, it's not good. It's not good. It's not helping anyone. It's dangerous. I'm watching people who've been in business successfully for 25, 30 years in the last 5 years just slide down a mud hill. They have no idea what's going on out there, and they're still stuck on advertising in the yellow pages, and they're dying. Their retirement plan is now over, and I don't want to see that happen to anybody else. So I've put every effort I have into creating this program. The 3-day live course was $14.97. It still is. I still offer it on occasion. It's just not easy to schedule 3 days with some people. That's why, and I got a lot of feedback on that. So I listened. It's like, I don't have 3 consecutive days. I can't do that until June. Well, you can't wait till June. Marketing is your time, is your enemy with marketing. It's your absolute worst enemy. The longer you wait to start this stuff, man, I mean, it's cumulative, right? So as soon as you get to that 100 followers or likes on Facebook, you're going to start watching a snowball effect happen. And it can be all organic. That's the coolest part. I don't even have to try. I literally don't even try on Twitter to get followers. I get new followers every single day. My snowball effect has worked. I've got over 5,000 followers, and they are organic. They have chosen to follow me. I didn't pay for them. Now, what you're watching right now is an edited version of a replay, and the offer I made was only for those who attended those particular webinars that week. So if you are interested in learning more about how to dominate your social media, master it now, go to our website, www.freshinc.ca. That's ink with a K. Make sure to register for our e-newsletter, download that white paper, call me directly, and I can help walk you through what the best next step for you is. All we are doing this for is to make sure that business and economy keep going, and frankly, we love doing it. Thanks so much for spending this time watching this replay. I really hope to hear from you soon, and we'll see you again. Again, it's freshinc.ca. And our phone number is area code 403-228-6555. Have a great night.